If you've been following the channel for some time, then you know I have one big gripe with the PSVR2, and that isn't even with the headset itself. It's with the controllers, because you cannot buy them separately. From the inception of PSVR1, you were able to buy the camera, the headset, the move controllers, the aim controller, everything separately. So if one consumable broke, you could just go and get another, but that's not the case with the PSVR2, or maybe that will change fairly soon. Before we jump in and actually have a look at what this means and what this whole Apple and Sony collaboration that we're about to tackle means for PSVR2 overall, only 25% you are subscribed, so please feel free if you'd like to. And this content is brought to you by our patrons and YouTube members who kindly support the channel day after day and week after week. Now let's go head over to uploadvr.com, where they detail that Apple and Sony are working to bring support for PSVR2 controllers to Apple Vision Pro. This is by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Now, Bloomberg I know do not have the best track record in the past, so it's possible that this is wrong, as we heard that PlayStation were halting production basically indefinitely for the headset, which we have now known isn't really true because people are getting newly built units that they've just bought recently. But that's a whole topic for another day. However, we're going to take Bloomberg's word for this because I want to be hopeful today, fuck it, why not? And as Upload VR say, Gurman has a strong track record when it comes to reporting Apple's moves in advance and revealed many details about the Vision Pro itself before it was officially revealed or even acknowledged to exist by Apple. As we move on, Apple Vision Pro's gaze and pinch interaction system is ideal for interface interaction, and its hand tracking is suitable for casual gaming, but many VR and mixed reality games and interactive experiences on other platforms require controllers. To bring this kind of content to Vision OS, Apple approached Sony earlier this year to bring support for PSVR2 Sense controllers to Vision Pro. This would also include support for navigating the Vision OS interfaces. Sony currently doesn't sell the PSVR2 Sense controller separately. As we know, that's a very big pain point for the PSVR2, not even for replacements, but when this support launches, it would start to, including at Apple stores and from Apple's website. Now that would be a very weird turn of events if we couldn't buy Sense controllers through Sony, but we could buy them through Apple, but fuck it, I would pay that. And we'll get into why at the end of the article, but let's keep going. Gurman claims Apple and Sony originally intended to announce the support weeks ago, and the rollout has been postponed. My expectation is that an announcement will still come at some point, unless it gets abruptly scrapped, he writes. Of course, support for controllers won't in itself be enough to entice many developers to port their titles to Vision OS, as Gurman points out. Apple Vision Pro has an install base of only around 500,000 owners, and only a fraction of them will own or buy PSVR2 Sense controllers. To spur a gaming ecosystem on Vision OS, Apple may need to fund developers as Meta does for its Quest headsets, but it's unclear whether Apple is willing to do that. We'll keep a close eye on Apple and Sony in the coming weeks for any signs of an official announcement of the PSVR2 Sense controller support on Apple Vision Pro. Now, I am very, very excited for this, if true, and the main reason for me is a very situational reason and won't be for everybody, but I use my PSVR2 on PC and on PS5, and the pairing process is fine. You have to press a combination of two buttons, the PS button and the option button, or the share button on the adjacent controller. That'll put the controller into pairing mode, and then you pair it on your PC through Bluetooth. When you next boot them up, they'll pair to your PC, since that's what they were connected to last, and when you want to connect them back to your PS5, you have to plug in via USB-C. This is usually fine if I'm just playing, a PC VR game for a while, and then I switch over to PSVR2 for a while, because then I don't really have to switch back and forth too often. But when I do need to switch back and forth often, I want to play some Blade and Sorcery, but then I want to play some Behemoth, for example, on PSVR2, that can get a bit tedious. And I know it's a very first world problem, but it would really be great to have another pair that I can swap out and use when I want to play on PC and when I want to play on PSVR2. Another great use for this would be to extend your gaming periods. You could now play indefinitely if you have a dual station charger, like a lot of us do. So you could run one controller set dry, pick up the next one, and while you're playing with the next set, the original can charge up. By the time your next set is done, your originals are back to full charge, swap again, charge the others, and so on and so forth. And you can play indefinitely, which would fix the controller lifespan problem in terms of charge to charge that we have on PSVR2. Those are the two main use cases for this that I'm really excited for. Of course, there's a whole other conversation to be had about games on Vision Pro, which is really exciting for people who use that platform. For me personally, I've tried the Vision Pro, I really do like it, it's amazing, but it's £3,500 here in the UK. That is simply too much. I would wait for a lower end version of that headset in the future that would come to maybe £1,000 or sub £1,000 before I even considered getting into that ecosystem, as amazing as it is. But for us PSVR2 users, this is a net win if it does end up happening. So we'll keep our eyes open. Anyway, our playthrough of Behemoth continues in an hour, so I'll see you there. Are you excited for potential controllers coming separately? This is my one big issue for PSVR2 that I raised, and this would make sense why they haven't made the controller separately if this is something that Apple has been negotiating with them for a while, but we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.